Do you want to get going, Paddy? If you could also just quickly introduce yourself, obviously, because David's probably not had a chance to meet a lot of you as well.
Hello, David. Paddy Davitt from the local paper. Nice to meet you. Congratulations on the job. And obviously not the result you wanted today, but just can you firstly give us your overall impressions of the day?
Yeah, in general, I think, as you said, and this is correct, but this happens sometimes in football, that you don't get what you deserved. I think everything what I've seen on the grass and what I felt from the stands, it was energy all over the park. I think the players played quite well. I wanted to have, without the ball, the feeling of high energetic, aggressive, intensive football, where we really were brave to go in opponent's face and try to keep them away from our goal, in terms that we pressed them high. And I've seen this over the majority of the game, especially in the second half. And with the ball, I wanted that we be brave and play football, try to play out of the back. Sometimes mistake happens, like in front of the first goal. Should not happen, but this is part of the game. We will work on this, and we wanted to be better from bringing the ball from our third into the midfield third, and I've seen this as well. Unfortunately, in the final third, we made it a little bit too complicated. We were a little bit unlucky as well, though there were not enough clear-cut chances for how we performed. But let's be fair, we only had a couple of training sessions, and we have a lot of work to do, a hell of a work to do for sure. Every game, every training session on the grass will help us, but I've seen enough to looking forward to the next weeks, next games which we have in front of us.
As you say, I mean, result hasn't gone for you today, but in a roundabout way, you maybe have seen some of the areas, because it's different training to a game situation, where maybe they have struggled a little bit, and maybe why they're in the situation. And you referenced one, I think it was 25 shots, no goals. Clearly that's an area you and your coaching staff need to address.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think this is the next step. So to create this moments of 25 shots, and even I think there were a lot of opportunities more, which we unfortunately picked up the wrong pass, and this is why we not prepared the next shot, especially in the first half. I think we had so many good situations in transition where we picked up the wrong pass. We were able to create even more. But you're right, we have, and I said this, a lot of work to do. Obviously we need more clinical. We need to be more clinical, and we need to have more clear-cut chances as well. This is then the next step. But performance-wise, if we keep this performance going, if we keep the energy in the stadium going, as I said, I'm really looking forward to the future.
Talking of the energy, I mean, you referenced in your first interview that the fans, you've never seen any club that if the fans aren't with the players and the support staff, that togetherness. We saw, very warm reaction before the game, but also importantly after the game. You've gone on the pitch and applauded the stadium. You've got a very warm reaction from all sides, and you're going to need that now, aren't you, to move forward, those fans with you?
Yeah, but to be fair, this is, I think, something which only shows respect. Win, lose or draw. If your supporters turn up in numbers and they give you the support which you need, then at least it makes sense to go a few steps on the grass and to say thank you to them and to give them applause. This is what my team not only should do, they have to do it, and I think this is what I expect from myself as well, to show somebody respect for the response which they give you, and they've done it great today. And this doesn't depend on the result. Obviously, I love to do it more when we won rather than after a defeat, but I think this shows only respect which we have.
Just final one from me. Can I just ask, obviously you went strong in terms of your 11, but no Sargent, no Campbell, no Gibson. Can you just give us an update why they wasn't involved today?
Ben is injured, can't train at the minute. Sarge, we gave a few days off after his busy World Cup period. He will be back in training tomorrow. Was there one further? No. Yeah, these were the ones who were not involved. And the other,
Campbell, Sam Byron, no, just those two as well?
Sam, unfortunately, felt his hamstrings again, injured as well, and Todd didn't make it for the squad today.
Thank you, David.
Michael?
David, Michael Bailey with The Athletic. Nice to meet you. In terms of picking Tim to go in goal today, was that because Tim has had a time where he hasn't played, or is that is that a free battle between him and Angus?
Yeah, of course, there is a battle. If a new manager comes in, it's a battle for every position. The truth is, Tim didn't play a lot of games in the past, and I haven't seen him. This was not now a decision because of this 2 or a couple of days which we had training. This would be a lie. We made this decision earlier. I think it makes sense to give Tim game time to see him in a competitive game. And now we start the week next week, and we will see how everything continues.
And we had Dini Yanulis starting a game again, possibly a similar case. He hasn't played for a while, but you could already sense, I think, from him and from Max Aarons as well, how important they can be in terms of your shapes with fullbacks.
Yeah, I think it's no secret that in my style of game or how we like to play, what kind of football we love, the fullbacks play a crucial role. So they have to be energetic, have to have offensive mindset, to overlap, to run in behind, to attack. I always say these are one of my, not the most important attackers, but 2 further attackers which we have on the grass. But first and foremost, they have to defend because they are fullbacks, and this means they have to defend. I think both today, like the whole team, as I said, has done quite well.
Thank you, Dave.
Tony?
David, hi. Tony Rushman for The Sun. You've watched today's game, and presumably you've watched some recordings of recent games. What's your key learning so far from your research and what you've seen?
To be fair, I think, and I said this to the players, I don't like to speak about what was in recent months, games or whatever. Obviously, yes, I made my research before I signed this contract because I wanted to know what the squad maybe is capable of producing for results. If there was a difference or not, I think you guys can judge it much more better than I do because you were in the stadium live. I said this before, we only had a couple of days on training. I've seen today enough after this couple of days of training to really look positive forward, what is ahead of us. But I don't like to compare the games which were I was not in charge compared to today.
Final one, Donovan?
Donovan from ITV Anglia, nice to meet you. Just about the performance, particularly in the second half, the way you controlled the game, is that how you want your players and your team to attack the games?
Yeah, I think apart from in the final third where I said we're too complicated and didn't produce enough clear-cut chances, the bravery which we had to defend with a high line, to really be in the gegenpressing situations very often, to not give the opponent the breather. There were a lot of things there which I've seen, and obviously as well to attack centrally or over the wings. Everything what was necessary was there, but unfortunately we didn't produce a goal. Unfortunately, we didn't produce one after a set piece as well, because I think we had a lot of set piece situations as well in this game. But as I said, sometimes in football you can play very, very well, and I think we have done this today, but you can't win, unfortunately.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
And see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.